What do Metallica, Queensryche, and Alice in Chains all have in common? Well, other than that they all got started decades ago, they also all made pretty good use of this Bogner preamp. Today we're going to open the next chapter in our Axe Effects vs. Kemper series, and today specifically for this Bogner preamp on the Strato channel. This amp is by and far one of my favorites out there, or rather I should say one of my favorite models/profiles out there, since I never played the real one, and I guess that makes me a big fat digital head. Today we're going to compare this using a premium profile from Kemper Profiles. The preamp is plugged into a 4x12 cabinet and it is mic'd by the trusty old Shure SM57. We'll be using the same cab and mic for the Axe Effects rig as well, and I should mention this is the first in the video series that I'm doing with the Cygnus firmware update. Let's get on to playing around with it. First I'm going to play each one isolated here so you can hear them alone without a mix, and then I'm going to jump into a mini song so you can hear that in a meaningful context. We'll start with the Kemper clean. All right, let's plug it into the Axe Effects now. Let's do something a little more distorted, like an edge of breakup. Now we'll plug it into the Axe Effects. And lastly, let's start with the Kemper on something really overdriven and metal sounding. And the Axe Effects. Okay, now that you heard a little bit of each one of them alone, let's plug it into a mix and hear how it sounds. I should note here that any of the effects like reverb, delay, that kind of stuff that you hear, those are all VSTs from the studio, not from the boxes themselves. I'm keeping the units just to the Bogner and the cabinet. So what do you think? For this model, I feel like the Axe is a little bit brighter and more present, and the Kemper is a little bit warmer, and like usual with the Kemper, it kind of has more of an amp in the room kind of quality, whereas the Axe Effects is kind of like an in the mix quality. For me, one is not better than the other. As I always say, it comes down to personal preference and taste. Each one of these units is pretty incredible. And that's the point of these videos, just so you can kind of hear them back to back and see what fits your tastes better without having to go out and spend all the money to buy both of these things. Of course, besides the sound, it's also about the workflow and the software that comes with it. And I do have a video that I did quite a while ago here. I'll link it, and it talks about that more specifically. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I get back to everyone as soon as I can. And until next time, guys, keep making great music. Hey friends, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. It makes the whole world better.